You guys ready? No, what do you mean skip the intro?
Time out. Brother, what do you mean by the
Welcome everyone. Today, Potter's House Church, right here in Bolton, presents Speak Your Mind. And essentially, we're going to have a discussion regarding peer pressure and self-image. So essentially, is it causing people to make good or bad decisions? So today, we have few people here involved. And I don't know if you want to introduce yourselves. So starting from Itinu.
Hi, my name is Itinu.
Hello, my name's Cleveland.
Hi, my name is Marvin.
What's good, people? Is your girl Matilda, aka Tilly, aka Tills, aka Tilly Tills.
Hey, my name is Matthew, aka Major Matt.
Oh, wonderful. So essentially, we're going to just have a quick discussion regarding, this topic that I just mentioned. And yeah, what do you guys think? So do you think peer pressure is a good thing, is a bad thing, and how is that impacting your self-image or, on a general point of view, the image that people believe of themselves just in general? To go first?
Yeah,
of
course,
go first, yeah.
Fantastic. Right. In regards to, is it causing people to make good or bad decisions? Well, I think good or bad decisions get made via anyway, naturally. For instance, we could say, so when we're talking about basically just self-image by itself, you've got a certain image to live up to. So for instance, if you're going to go to church, you've got a specific image you have to go by, I would say. If you're going to go if you're a promoter in a nightclub, you've got a specific image to live by. For instance, if it's going to work in a bank or a doctor or a lawyer or something, you've got a specific image to live by. Because all of those, you're expected, whether you like it or not, society sees you in a specific way. So if I've got for instance, a lawyer and she turns up in a shorts and a Liverpool top to the court, you're going to look at her and thinking, well, this image is not right. It doesn't fit my purpose. So yeah, of course, I believe it has good and bad decisions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very good. So, you mentioned about professions, what people do on a day-to-day, in their day-to-day life. But growing up or being in a position where you still don't know what you're actually, because a lawyer, essentially to become a lawyer, someone has to make the decision to do their undergraduate, to do their master's maybe, and then to go for the bar and all of those sort of things. But beforehand, this, they had peer pressure to play a major part in their decision making, right? So is there a point in time where, people decide to use their own personal decisions to do things, or is it mainly done because of peer pressure or because what they feel like other people are telling them to do?
So with that, because I can quite relate to that a lot, is because, for example, when I was in high school now, before you can join the cool kids, you have to do some things, that is where the peer pressure comes into play. Because you really want to be able to hang out with the ones they call the cool kids.
Cool kids, yeah.
And I feel like at that stage, your brain is not developed well enough to really know if this is you or it's not you. Mm-hmm. You understand? Like, I didn't find myself till I got into university. If it comes to peer pressure and looking at my self-image when I was in high school to college time, I was following people because I wanted to be a people person. I wanted to be known that I'm rolling with this sort of people. So I had to do some things that even if it wasn't something that I wanted to or I liked to, but because everyone's doing it in there and I don't want to be the one to be out of the line, I still had to follow through. So, peer pressure kind of comes in, and then it's sometimes kind of is a bad decision in the sense that out of that peer pressure, I didn't want to go to university because, my mates were not doing it. Everyone's playing football, everyone's playing basketball and getting paid for it. And that's what I literally wanted to do. It's later on in life, then you still kind of sit by yourself, you find yourself, and with a lot of prayers and, meeting the right people, the right connections, you kind of find yourself in that moment, and then you start making your own decisions as well.
I am going to be an up to what everyone else has been saying. I don't believe there's a thing called peer pressure. I've said this before as well. Like, you're gonna do what you're going to do. Peer pressure is an excuse that people make into doing things that they know they really and truly want to do, but try to blame it on their friends. Your parents always say, if your friend is jumping over that cliff, are you gonna jump along? I don't buy that peer pressure thing. I feel like if you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. Like you said though, what I do agree with is the brain not being fully developed, so you can be swayed into doing certain things that's wrong. But again, that's not peer pressure. I don't know. I don't think there's a thing called peer pressure in it, so I don't know. What do you guys think?
Sorry, I think there's something to say the way you just said. Obviously, I want to understand. If you don't call it peer pressure, what would you call it?
There is no define what peer pressure is to you.
All right, let me jump in there.
Okay.
So, peer pressure is the social pressure by members of one's peer group to take a certain action, adopt certain values, or otherwise conform in order to be accepted. Then self-image is the idea one has of one's abilities, appearance, and personality.
I still feel like there's no such thing. Even that definition there is so... Wait. Explain what peer pressure is again. Read that again.
So, again for the camera, yeah?
One more time.
Social pressure by members of one's peer group, yeah? So it's the social pressure by the members of a group.
The same group.
Yeah? And then to take a certain action, so let's say, as a group, they're all doing something. If you don't do it, it's like...
So
that's where peer
pressure.
come
So
into
pressure
place.
is force, right? So not unless your friend... Okay, so this thing is here on the table. Your friend is saying, oh, push it down. You've got a brain in your head. No matter how, undeveloped it is, you've got a brain in your head and you've got morals in it. You've got yes and no. You know what's right, you know what's wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? Not unless they physically grab your hand and push it down, which is still not even your fault because it's not you that pushed it down. Peer pressure is not a real thing. It's an excuse as far as I'm concerned.
Just as I said, I don't think that they'll actually force you. You can force someone by manipulating them for years and then they'll begin to change. Like you rightfully said, at that age, whatever age it may be, they might not mentally have developed. So they don't actually know what right and wrong is. Someone can manipulate someone to the extent where they even start asking themselves, who am I? Like, how did I steal that thing? Because that friend has been manipulating them, knowing or unknowingly, for years. And then it's like...
But that's not peer pressure though, still. That's manipulation.
No, but it is a form. It could be then turned into a form of it. Because it's not forcefully done, I think it can then turn into that. Because then you now have to start questioning yourself, like, okay, who am I? Like, what? I'm not even capable of doing this, but I did it.
Right. No, that's very good. So, have you got something to say? Yeah, go on.
Quickly. Do you know what you just said that about peer pressure, right? Did you ever attend church? Are you Christian? Do you believe in God? Have you ever attended church when you was younger, right? So you know when you come back to the bit about being developed and so forth, right? I used to go to church when I was younger. Presumably I didn't want to, but my mum made me. She didn't force me, or probably said she'll beat me, but she didn't force me. But would you say that's not a form of peer pressure?
That's not peer pressure. That's your parents. They're not your peers.
So your parents can't
Sorry to interject. So, obviously, parents are peers, but however that can happen with your peers, your group of friends, or even some people that aren't your group of friends, that can happen. So he just gave an example of parent pressuring you to do something. They're not forced you, but I feel like you can get pressured and forced by other means, by other people.
Right, so I think, that's a very good conversation, and we didn't even jump into the self-image, but just time for that. So the next question is, do you think peer pressure has the ability to dictate your life? If so, do most people really know who they are? So that's touching base on what we already started to speak about, and essentially, because there's been a point where people said, well, you have an opinion of yourself, you've got the ability to say yes or no, but do you really have that ability?
Yeah.
Go on.
I can relate to this question because when I was in college, my family were always like, it was as if university had to it had to just be, there was no other option. And it was because all my cousins, all my siblings, everyone went to uni. And I didn't even know what I wanted to study, not to talk of if I even wanted to go. And then it was until after uni, I was like, I didn't even need it. But that whole self-image of, oh, if you drop out, they're going to think that we need that picture in the house. Like, it just took for that family name, for that self-image. And just to relate back to the question, it kind of did dictate my life, because for me, even though I don't really see it as, me personally, I'm not going to take those 3 years as a waste, because I learned other things as well as my degree, but it did dictate my course in life. Because if I had just, after college, chilled for a bit and then thought, okay, Itunu, who are you? What do you want to be? I could have probably done another course. I could have done a work experience and just made it easier for myself, rather than now going into uni and then just thinking, what was the point?
Did you also go to uni because all your peers were going there? And
yeah, because if I didn't go, I didn't want to be in London by myself. I wanted to go to the raves. I wanted to go out and meet my friends. That it was Freshers Week. Everyone was talking about it, and I'm there at home with my family. No, I wanted to be at the student accommodations, live that life and that experience. But when it actually comes down to what uni is, which is your degree, it was like even needed?
So to start with, uni's the ghetto. That's the ghetto. But again, that's still not your peers though. That's your parents. Like,
yeah, my friends were going, so I wanted to go. So but it just, my parents were just like, I did pressure. Emphasis on that, like, oh, everyone else is going as well, and the family name and all that stuff.
Do you know what it is? Or maybe it's just me speaking personally or from like a personal standpoint. I'm a very stubborn person, innit? Like, I've never been one to go the way everyone's going. Listen, everyone's going left, I'm going right. It's just what it is. So maybe that's why peer pressure does not exist to me. Like, even from like being in school, I was that girl in it that just got on with everyone. I was the floater, I was girl. Do you know what I'm saying? So I didn't. People are moving mad. people are moving very. We went to the same school. People are moving very mad in school, but like, I'll never do what everyone else is doing just because they're doing it or to fit in.
But would you say that's like everyone, even your friends? Would you say they follow what you were saying?
I feel like my friends are also a bit like me, you know. I surround myself with a lot of people that were very similar. So, I don't know. I've never had friends that was like, the follower kind of thing. Everyone just do their own thing. So, I guess that's why it doesn't exist to me. So I understand. But from you guys explaining, obviously I understand. I get it. But I still, like, I get it because you're saying it or like the theory. But practically or like seeing it, I've never seen it. So it doesn't exist to me. So.
But I think, right, so back to the question. It says, do you think peer pressure has the ability to dictate your life? Of course it does. It dictates everyone's life. Whether we subconsciously know or not, it does. Mm-hmm. You might not see it, doesn't mean it's not there. As some people say, God's not next to you. It doesn't mean you can't see it, doesn't mean he's not there. Do you know? So maybe because you're not, I'm not going to say experience it. Maybe because you're not acknowledging it, doesn't mean it's not there. Because trust me,
I hear you. Because I see that as well about, especially like young girls seeing influencers or whatever getting their bodies done and they're feeling some type of way. Just like I said, that does not click to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Do you know what I'm saying? But like, I guess that is
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Because the style, the fashion that you're wearing now, someone influenced you.
Nobody influenced me.
Wait. Let me finish. I'm talking from experience here.
Okay,
Someone subconsciously influenced you. Whether you know it or not, someone did. You saw something, but you didn't act on it there.
Like the style. Listen, I saw some Jordan. Orange is my favorite color.
I'm telling you. Do you know what? Because you remind me exactly. What month you born?
February 20. Same day as Rihanna. Oh wait, I don't.
Right? You remind me of my mom. My mom acts like you. So I'm speaking from I can see. She likes to be different. She wants to be out there. That's how I got my personality. I'm a different person. My friends will call me wild, can vouch for it. They'll call me whatever. But I'm going to be CJ regardless. If you like me, hate me, and no, I'm going to be me. But I can see, like, you like your individuality. But I'm telling you now, subconsciously, something influenced you to dress like that. Peer pressure or not.
So I think I want to understand something because I'm trying to be strict to this whole peer pressure thing. Like she's saying, are we really basing this around peers or pressure in general? Because if she's saying, oh, it's not her peers that influenced her to do what she's doing, so are we saying peer pressure doesn't have to be your peers? It could be from anyone.
It's a group. It's a group of. It's just a group. So a group of people.
I think peer pressure. The word peers is probably more associated with people that are in school because that's all they see. Whereas the older you get, it's everyone because you're in communication with so many people from so many different ages, and you're more like you see more things. I guess the older you are.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably where it's coming from, like pressure in that sense. And you get it a lot on social media because you start questioning yourself, like all these likes and how many followers people get. Then when social media started, you start questioning yourself, like, how come they've got X amount of followers? Like, what is it that they're doing? And you see a lot of, I would say from women, a lot of them just compromising a lot of stuff just so that they can get enough likes, so that they can get enough followers and then become an influencer.
But that essentially plays on your self-image, isn't it?
Definitely, because you probably would, like some of the girls that I've seen, I'm just like, wow, like you wasn't like that back in uni. So it's like, why is it now that you're on social media, you're just doing the most? Like, is that how you're really like, or are you just doing that for image? So I think I think we should call it probably social pressure rather than peer pressure. Social pressures from society, I think, makes you come out of who you really are, and then you even start questioning yourself, because the moment you compromise your identity, I think that's when you've lost it.
Lost in the sauce.
Mom, be quiet there. Anything to say? No?
Do you know what it is? Like, everyone's covering all the points, so it's like, I don't want to echo anyone's words.
Right, fair enough.
Everyone's, straight to the point. I'm more like, if we're changing the goalpost, then I might interject, but everyone's like linear right now, so.
Yeah. So do you then think jumping on the next question, that, our self-image is imposed by what other people say then? Because if they didn't say that, if they don't approve of how we potentially dress, of how we speak, of how we act, then, we won't be accepted.
Now, do you know what it is, yeah? For me, I feel like a lot of people just don't know who they are. When you know who they are, why do you care what anyone... oh man, listen, I don't want to get right, but like, I do not care. I've got no care in the world about a lot of things, because life is so fickle, life is so short. You're here, people drop dead every 2 seconds, like less than 2 seconds, do you know what I'm saying? So like,
whoa.
Why should you care? No, seriously, like.
Oh.
No,
people dropping dead every 2 seconds.
No, but for real. Like the next week, no, do you know what it is? I want a lot of people to know this, yeah. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. The next 1 minute is not guaranteed. So why are you letting what people say? Why are you letting what people say get to you? Like, why is that making you change?
Can I interject?
Who you are?
Can I interject? Can I just ask a question on top of that? So let's say now you are, or you act and you dress the way society says you shouldn't dress like. So not to say like how you're dressed is completely fine, but I'm saying, let's say if you didn't have Jordans on, you didn't have your hair slayed, your nails done, because for us black as a black woman, those are things that are seen as, oh, she's got herself, she looks cute. But let's say you flipped, you didn't have your nails, you had trainers from Aldi, you sell shoes. Like, do you know what I mean? You wasn't, in terms of society, you just wasn't that. Wow, would you still say that?
Absolutely. I don't know where it is, man. And it's not me being cocky. I'll let you know, I'm not being cocky or anything, or I don't know, too confident or whatever. Like, people will tell you. I post pictures on Instagram with no makeup. Like, I'm so comfortable with who I am. Like, I don't need the validation from nobody.
But the reason why I said that was because, especially if you want to go back to peer pressure and being in school, if your mum got you Clark's shoes and she didn't get you Kickers or something,
back in the day,
yeah, you would be like, oh, mom, please get me these shoes. And it's like, it's just shoes.
Okay,
But-
so now that goes back to
Yeah.
what I said before, how I've always been that girl, innit? I've always been like that. Like, I don't care. Yo, that's what I have. I'm so comfortable with it. So I don't know. I've just...
When I was in high school, yeah, I was rude. I don't even care. My mom knows, and I think my mom said it before recently as well, and it kind of just reminded me, like, when I see my friends wearing all these nice shoes and that, yeah, and my mom goes around there buy me just church shoes and that. Fam, those shoes don't last 2 days. I go back home with one leg. I'm like, yo, mom, they stole my shoes, man. They said that's not the right shoes. and right there, that is peer pressure right there, because you want to fit in. You want to have them nice shoes that you want people to look at you and be like, God dang, that's nice. You know what I mean? So it comes back to what's that question now? What role society plays. So it comes back to that question, and it's just like you want to be able to get people to acknowledge your looks. You know what I mean? A lot of people would do the most, whereby what things that you don't need to do, a lot of people would do it just to be able to get that kind of 100 likes on social media. And all
I
of
think
this
it's kind of like it gets addictive, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a drug where, you've done something and you gain 50 likes. 50 likes is like 50 people telling you, oh, that's amazing. Now, if you do another thing and you get 45 likes, you're like, I've messed up now.
Yeah, that's
what
the thing.
did I do that didn't gain 50 or more? No,
but
I'm just saying in general.
That's actually society right now. I mean, I saw this. We're shooting a music video for a friend of mine, and this little girl's like, "Are you shooting videos? We can post you on our TikTok. I have something followers on my TikTok." I'm looking at the girl like, "You look about 10 years old. How are you having thousands of like? What are you doing on your TikTok? What?" And it's just shocking, really. But that's society right now. You do stuff, 50 people like it. You either do that same thing or you do something that is more than that so they can get more likes.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day now, social media has turned to a money platform. It's now business. So everybody's trying to make money at young age, and sometimes it really messes people up if they don't have that development that I was talking about. So it's
Just, wait, let me just add to that, sorry. Just on the flip side, I feel like there is an innocent side to it as well. Like, I feel like there's loads of kids, loads of people on Instagram who are just posting whatever they want to post, and they're getting loads of likes and comments from their friends because it's just an exchange they do. Do you get what I mean? It's just how they interact. Sometimes it's not even like it's automatic likes. So they might not even like what they're liking. They're not even commenting real things. Do you get what I mean? It's just like, I don't know, like some charity comments. I call them. That's what I think they are. But I feel like there is an innocent side to it where they're just, playing the support game. That's what I think. But it's not necessarily. But I feel like even in that, there's pressure for them to also like and comment back. So we'll go back to peer pressure. There's also the pressure to be like, hey, I support you all the time. Do you know what I mean? I support you all the time. I'll give you this free likes, this free comments. Better hit back.
It's actually messed up, It's messed up that you say
Give me
that.
some more.
That's mad. It's mad that you say that as well, because I remember someone said that recently, and I just looked at them like, what are you on? They're like, I like this girl's picture. That's one of my friends. I liked her picture, but she didn't like mine back, so I unliked it. I was like, what? Huh? Like, this is how I'm moving. I feel like what it is a lot of people are just lost in the sauce. Go and spend time with yourself, man, and find yourself and be comfortable.
And
People
there's
just
even like DMs saying, I just posted a picture.
Yo, oh my days.
Excuse me?
That's to do with
Please
the
like
man.
my
Do you
picture.
know? Wait, hold on.
I said, wait a minute.
Okay, on a business standpoint, though, we're just talking about that real quick. It's a new thing now because Instagram has messed up the algorithms. So apparently, if you don't have better interactions in your
business
comments,
is business, promoting is promoting. But if you're just
posting pictures,
your own
yeah.
individual person.
Yeah, I think you're wild. I think people that do that are very wild. Why are you
You're not even,
DMing me your
posting
picture? You're
content or
right.
anything. Do you get what I mean? You're like,
I think you had a question.
DM
no?
a picture.
new picture.
Yeah, let's jump on that question. Let's jump on that question.
You're welcome, brother.
So everyone is saying something that sounds nice. I like it. If I'm going to use what Mark just said. So obviously, I know pressure affects every material in a different way. So it could be the pressure, but the pressure can take this material to the right, and the same pressure can take another material to the left. So are we basing this on the fact that the pressure that is being put on everyone would have to make everyone behave the same way? Like Matilda said, she doesn't care. Some people say, oh, the pressure made me want this. She's saying, yeah, I felt the same pressure, but I don't care. So are we trying to say, how does the pressure affect you? Does it affect some people in a different way and affect others in a different way? Or peer pressure in general, you have to react to it in the same way?
Some special people, in this, sorry. There are some special people in this world, like, Tilly that is next to me right here, that peer pressure don't mean nothing to them. They like what they are. They like who they are. They like who they look like, what they look like. They like what they're wearing. So they don't like any other influence to influence what it is that they are trying to project. You know what I mean? So that comes back again to what is here. How many people here use iPhone? Literally everyone. So are we gonna call that social pressure as well? You know what I mean?
No, but the reality is that it is.
So that's what I mean. So when everyone uses iPhone these days, it's not because there are no better phones out there than iPhone, because there actually is.
There's no better phone than iPhone.
Are you sure?
Wait, that's not true. That's
Your
not true.
pixels picture. What do you mean?
Pictures on
I can't even
Snapchat.
see them pictures. Looking like San Andreas. Remember them on the PS2? What are we looking at? What are we looking at?
Yo, by the way,
That's
Apple's
San
not
Andreas.
paying me to promote this.
Oh my days.
This gets to Apple.
Yeah, please take that out.
Were you gonna say something?
Yeah. I just want to
Oh, CJ, go on. Yeah.
Right. So we're talking about roles in society, like how
Yeah.
it perpetuates certain things. So, for instance, when I was younger, I moved to this country when I was 9 from Jamaica, right? And I was at school and so forth. So I used to go to school. I used to ride my bike. My mum bought me this bike. It was like a female's bike, and it had like something covering up the. I know it had something covering up the spokes. So it had them, them things like that with colours and that. Yeah, so you wouldn't put your foot through it and stuff like that, right? So I had that going to school. No, don't feel sorry for me, because I'm glad stuff like that happened. Because now, not then, now. Yeah. So she bought a bike like that for myself. I was grateful, because at the age of 9, my mum sat me down and taught me what was life like, what was gonna happen, how we gonna roll, and how we have to do certain things to survive. So I knew before my mum left to England what she was gonna do. She sat me down and told me, this is what I gotta do to go away. I'm gonna be away for you for probably, I don't know how long. It could be 10 years, it could be 1 year. She sat me down, let me know. She flew off. A year after, by the grace of God, she managed to file for me and get me to England, right? So when I was going to school, she's already instilled certain things. So she's told me what our life's like, or what we need to do. So she wants to save up and buy a house back in Jamaica and so forth. So all these things, you're getting subconsciously or not, you're getting told it, and you're knowing, well, I'm keeping it. I can't speak for everyone else and say everyone else will keep it. So I'm keeping it in my head, right? So going forward now, she buys me these shoes. I don't like these shoes. No one likes these shoes. My friends are wearing nice shoes. I'm here. I'm in Clarks. I'm Jamaican. I'm in Clarks. I'm not getting the kickers. That's my level's here. There's a there. Do you know what I'm saying? The kickers are not me yet. I'm getting. I love football. They're giving me Umbros instead of Nike. I'm not gonna complain, because I know where we're at. Okay. So she set an example. I turned 15, 16. She said, son, I need you to go. She'll give me the money to go with the card and pay the counter tax. Because she's instilling certain things in me. Because she knows, deep down, she knows society, she's looking at other people's kids. She knows, your parents know. That she sees everyone. She sees how nice they dress. Tom's got that. Harry's got that. He's got that. I've got this. But deep down inside, it helps you. Sometimes it grows you. Because obviously, coming back to it, society plays a huge role on us, well, regardless if we want to acknowledge it or not. Mm-hmm. But stuff like that, I wouldn't say it peer pressured me, but it humbled me and showed me that, because now, Umbros are gone. They're gone now. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can afford what I want now, but you have to sometimes, I think it's your parents as well. If your parents don't help you and show you out there, but you have the certain mentality, maturity in your head, even from a young age sometimes, not always, people develop different from girls, don't they, and so forth. Male, females, different times. But as I say to yourself, that's how I see it regards to this question anyway. Because if someone talks to you and instills it into you, maybe you can say your parents' job to do it, so that the society doesn't affect you when you're there.
Yeah, so just to clarify the question that we're on now, because I think we just went on with the flow, and which is good, I don't mind that. So, so what role is society playing as perpetrators or instigators of bad or good peer pressure and self-image? So it's what we spoke about social media, what about the television and the news, so essentially there is so much pressure from that as well that people are now moving mad. Like, would you say it is more bad peer pressure or good peer pressure?
I would say, I think it depends what angle you want to look at it, because you said something very pivotal about your relationship with your mum as it was installed from in the home. I think a lot of us, we didn't get that good self-image at home. Even for a parent to say, I love you, or you look so handsome, you look so beautiful. Now,
I didn't get that.
No, but
if you don't go to school today, you know what time it is.
But if you don't even get that love from home as a child, that's it, and it's needed, when we then get it from outside, we'll do anything for it. So, and I think that's where it comes with what you said about on Instagram. You'll just do anything to just get it feeds something. I can't remember what the word is. It releases dopamine.
Right.
Like, even subconsciously, like, it's just that feeling of, oh, I'm actually liked. Everyone wants to be liked. Like, do you know what I mean? And not to say even if you don't really care, it's just that feeling of, oh, someone likes me. Do you know what I mean? So if you're not even getting that at home, it's a bit like you're going to try and get that from outside. So with that question, that's probably bad. But then it can also be good with, like, what Matilda was saying, that if you have that self-confidence already, you don't need that gratification from anyone else because you know who you are. But again, I think it does come from home, because if your parents can install that in your mind and say, this is who you are loved, you are beautiful, all that good stuff, you wouldn't get that bad peer pressure.
So, right, so let's just see, let me just ask you this question then. So amongst ourselves, who we are here, yeah? Growing up, did you have more of a bad peer pressure or more of a good peer pressure going up? And how did that then affected your self-image?
I'm gonna comment on this because I feel like the only reason why I was quiet in the first round, is because I feel like I was on the same mentality as Matilda in terms of I feel like I have actually never felt peer pressure to that extent. Like, for real. Even growing up, to meeting new friends, to meeting friends that you guys know, I'm not gonna mention the names, but I never did some things they were doing. Like, I would say, I'm going home, honestly. But I feel like, hey, I'm laughing over there, but I would say I'm going home. I'm not trying to do whatever you wanna do. Not in the sense I'm looking down on what you're doing, it's just, that's not my thing. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like growing up, whether in school or not, I never felt bad or good peer pressure. And I wanted to say that it never even stemmed from my mum neither, or from parents at home. I just had a sense of self that I never felt like I was coming from Malawi as well, and I coming to England, like, I've already leveled up crazy amounts in my head to some extent. I've leveled up so much that these kids here are wanting things that I'm not understanding. Do you know what I mean? Are trying to reach a standard I don't understand here, because I've already been blessed like crazy.
Validation.
Yeah, like they're seeking things, and I'm like, I don't understand. And I've never been in school, whether I'm pressured or anything like that, because I've always been as good at everything else as everyone else. So whether what you look like doesn't matter to me. I can do the same things you do. Do you get what I mean? Or more. I can do other things. So it's like, for me, pressures only come from what you can do and can't do personally, because I've always been competitive. So it's not like, it doesn't matter what you look like. What can you do? That's what my mum instilled in me at home. It's what you can do, not what you look like.
Okay.
Just a quick one. For instance, I get this a lot, and a lot of people always ask me, and they talk about it as well with us. For instance, I'm not saying no one here does, because I don't know, but marijuana, like, a lot of people, like, especially when I came to university, they were like, oh, you're Jamaican, you must smoke it. I was like, no, I don't. And they were looking at me like, what? What do you mean you don't smoke? Everyone smokes weed. And I was like, no, I don't. And then he like, they want to emphasize it on you, like, just have a pull. I'm like, I don't have to if I don't want to. Like, I've got a strong mind. But even with that saying, yeah, you can stand up to someone, but not everyone's going to be the same. So people are different, aren't they? We're all individuals. That's what makes us so good and perfect in the world, because everyone's different, isn't it? So not everyone, I could say no, someone else would say yes. Not everyone's the same. So it comes back again to mentality.
Then, so I was saying that at the beginning, if you're going to do something, you're going to do it.
So wait,
like, that just sounds like a strong sense of knowing who you are. Like, why do people not just know who they are? And
but you also said about development. You remember when you were saying about development?
I just wanted to say that, I just wanted to clarify that it wasn't an image thing from home. It's not an image thing. It's just your self-confidence. It's just your sense of self and how your,
I've got plenty of that, mate.
Yeah, like how your parents made you think you should carry yourself. How your parents made you feel like how you should be, and then that makes you dismiss image,
But, okay,
in a sense.
Wait. So I asked a question,
externally,
and we jumped. So growing up, was there more of a bad peer pressure or good peer pressure?
Right. So I would say there was more bad than good, especially where I'm coming from, because people wanted you to go. I grew up with. I'll tell you now. I'm not scared to tell you. I grew up most around drug dealers, so it was always. Do you know what I'm saying? It was always the other road. I always say to my friend, I joke around, I meet him, a bar from Drake, he told me about going with Coke, but I went with Sprite instead. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd rather go to the education than go that line. Because I can see where they're going. I know where they're going, because my mum installed it for me as a young age. She told me, she said, look, they're going to go either prison or they could be dead. It's no other way. But obviously, not everyone's parents are like that. My mum's a single parent, but she made sure she was the dad and the mum to instill certain things into your mind. But you need also a level of maturity to know this, even from a young age.
I missed that lecture.
I think there's no good or bad peer pressure. I feel like peer pressure is bad in general. Any type of peer pressure is bad in general. Whether it's making you do anything positive or not. Like I could be in church and suddenly all the men around me and all the guys around me are wearing suits and coming through with blazers and things like that. It may be good. It may be a good thing to dress like that, but it's not necessarily like. But the pressure to do it is bad.
Let me just play devil's advocate with you there. So what if I've got a group of friends that want to do certain things in life and they elevate? I can see them elevating, and I'm still here, and they encourage me. They're telling me, "Listen, you can take this exam. You've got it. You've got that. I know you've got it in you." What would you say about that?
I still think peer pressure is bad in the way. Okay, I'll switch it. It's bad in the way someone digests it, because you could be like, they're encouraging me in a way, but somebody might feel too much pressure in terms of the encouragement they're giving. It might not translate to encouragement. It might translate to, oh my days, I don't even want to do this.
Yeah, like, why are you forcing me?
I have to, even whether I can do it or not. I don't want to do this, but I have to do it because you think I can, whether it's good or not.
But in the example he gave, I think like it's not necessarily like forcing you. I think it's something like when someone wants good for you because they know your potential. You just actually.
What if you're happy being mediocre? Some people in life are actually calm, you know.
No. Sorry.
Some people are so calm where they are.
Some people pretend. Let's be honest. A lot of people. Okay,
some people pretend, right? But some people genuinely don't pretend. Like, they're actually calm. What do you say about that?
You got a few.
You've got a few.
Not that I am.
Few,
but
not a lot. You got a few, because especially in our community, the black community, a lot of us pretend like we're happy. Oh, you're right, mate. Yeah, everything's good. Life is fantastic. Probably really not.
But let me just say,
you can just say to them, do you know what? If you've been honest to someone, right? Maybe he's got the answer to what your problems, but you're scared. You're embarrassed to ask, because you feel, especially in the black community, you feel everyone being judged. Just like what it says, like with society, sometimes we feel judged. So instead of asking, because not everyone, let's be honest, not everyone is happy. A lot of people pretend.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree with that. But then some people are genuinely calm though. Like, what do we say? I just need an answer for them. We're not doing this.
What Cleveland said as well. I think, and basing it back to the question, take bad pressure, let me use pressure, I don't want to use fear. Bad pressure is bad. Okay? Then good pressure
It's good.
good pressure could become bad as well. Because sometimes when people have a certain idea of how they expect you to be or how you expected to act, yeah, it could be a good thing, but it becomes their life to then put that pressure on you. See, God bless you. Get me?
You know why I say God bless you, yeah?
Amen.
Because what you just said, yeah, it just reminded me now, like, the image people see or want me to look like, yeah, I've been trying to follow that from a very young age, because they know my dad, they know his work, so I'm meant to be coming from that rich family, so trying to like kind of live up to that, and that's not. I think it was about a couple of days ago that I realized that is actually not me. I've been playing myself for a very long time, and I've been wasting my time trying to find who I'm not. I just went posting on my Instagram, wrote a big paragraph, like, fam, my name is Matthew, blah, 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 Alajogan. My father is this person. This is my father's money I have been spending. I have just graduated, and I am about to find my own job and make my own money. Make people understand that. And it comes with a lot of courage to kind of put it out there, because it's been something that's been playing on my mind for a long time, but it just took that one person. It took my girlfriend to just kind of wake me up like, yo, you're sleeping on yourself. I know you, and you're not even up to your full potential. So yeah.
So touching on what you just said then, so what are the remedies to revert bad pressure, peer pressure and self-image?
Have a good girlfriend.
It's just how you digest it. It's just how you ingest it, to be honest. That's what I kept saying.
No, but now you've ingested it. So now how do you revert? Let's say you've been injecting bad peer pressure. You've been accepting it. You're like, oh yeah, they are doing that, so I need to do that. Oh, I need to look a certain way to feel accepted. So now you've digested all of that. It's now in you. How do you revert the process and actually change it?
Yeah, you need to lose yourself.
I think if we're being practical, like let's use Matthew's experience, for example. You have to come to a point of realization. It's like sometimes you yourself would accept something, then I think sometimes we actually don't know what we want. Sometimes we want this, 2 years later we don't want it anymore. But we have to come to a point of realization to understand that, okay, this pressure is good for me, that pressure is not good for me. What gets you to that realization, I don't know.
Then it doesn't become pressure anymore when you find yourself, because then it's just all you.
But can I say that I think we always change. Like, we can say today, I found myself, but there's seasons in everything. I think we're always trying to find ourselves because situations change all the time, and then we're like, oh, I didn't even think I was gonna say that or do that. So I think in terms of your question, I think we always need to just pause and then revert back to who we want to be. I would say that, rather than who we are, because we're always going to change.
Who you want to be, can that be influenced by what people are?
But it can be a good influence, because let's say I see someone who is a CEO, and I aspire to want to be like that, but not necessarily what that other person's doing, but something that I'm interested in. That's a good aspiration, to become an entrepreneur. But I just needed that pressure to be like, oh, I can actually do this. In fact, let me turn off my phone and let me just go. I feel like sometimes there's actually good pressure. And that's with the example that CJ used before, where he said when you have a lot of friends and they're trying to not influence you, but encourage you to apply for that job because they know your potential. Like you were saying, it might not be the potential that, not like your dad, but we know your potential, and you can apply for that job. I think that's good pressure.
But you keep changing it. We keep changing. You keep saying pressure, and then with encouragement, you use the word encouragement whenever you're using it, like the friend's example. But then, like I keep saying, it's how you ingest it, how you digest it. This pressure could be encouragement, or it could be the other way around.
Yeah, definitely.
The other way around, somebody could grow so much apathy for so much pressure. It's like, wait a minute, I actually don't care about anything. And then making it worse, I don't care about anything.
Yeah, there's always bad and good. I think that again is the way you digest it, because guess what? I don't want that job. I don't want to do it. That's not me. Period. I don't want to do it. Whereas there could be a good application, and then someone can pressure you and be like, you can do this, come on, I know you're, and you're like, yeah, do you know what, I'm going to take what you're saying and I'm going to use that. There can be two. I don't know.
Just to touch on that. Exactly. It comes back again to it. Not to keep going back, but it's like a peer pressure thing, isn't it? If I say, go on, apply for that job and so forth, it's for you to tell me, do you know what, maybe I don't want that job. You know what I'm saying? You stand up for yourself. You don't have to be pressured, but we're just trying to encourage you. We're just showing you a potential. It's for you now to decide with yourself. Because in life, everyone has to make decisions every day. I had to decide to make sure that I finish football to come here. So, you know what I'm saying? We have to decide. We have decisions in life. So I'm not saying, take this job, Matthew. No, you need to do it now. I'm not your parent. I'm your friend. You know what I'm saying?
Can I just say one last thing as well? I think self-image works hand in hand with how well you deal with social pressure, in terms of with what you were saying, like if you know who you are, you know that this application form is not for me. I'm not going to be happy in this job because guess what? I know who I am. Even though I don't know like what I'm going to do in a month's time, as of now, I don't want to do this job. So guess what? Your pressure is not going to work for me because unfortunately, I don't want to do it. However, I also know who I am, and I know this job application, the pressure you're giving me, great. I'm going to use that and I'm going to apply for the job and I'm going to go for it. So I think it works hand in hand.
Right, so going with that, how do you actually know who you are? How do you get to know who you are? Spend
time with yourself. Life will basketballs you into spending time with yourself. All kind of bass. But I think that's the answer. Just spending time with yourself. Like, just being, people say this, like...
people spend time with yourself and get depressed.
But in depression is where you find yourself more time. Let's not cap. In depression is where you find yourself more time.
If I can ask you something, personally, do yourself a favor. How can I articulate it for yourself? So,
how did I get to know myself?
Exactly. How do you get to know yourself?
For me, personally, it was because of God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, purely because of that. Mm-hmm. Like, I personally believe that God is my maker. Mm-hmm. So you can't go to your iPhone and ask the iPhone how it was made. You need to go to Steve Jobs and identify how he actually thought about it to work, mm-hmm. for it to actually understand the whole functionalities, mm-hmm. of the product. Mm-hmm. We are products of God. Mm-hmm. That's what I personally believe anyway. Mm-hmm. So yes, it's good to spend time with yourself, but what is more important is to spend time with God. Mm-hmm. Because now you're actually speaking with your maker. You're speaking with the person that created you. So that's what then entails is that you actually now have a direct connection with who created you. You're able to find mysteries about yourself that you don't even know. Your mom can know that. Your dad does not know that because they're not the one that created you. They might have been a vehicle or a pathway for you to come to this world, but the only reason why you was able to be here is because of God. Mm-hmm. That's what I believe anyway. But mm-hmm. that's essentially, why society has now misled all of us. I believe peer pressure is a good thing if done according to God's will. Because if you're in an environment such as the church and everybody has godly values, they're trying to attain heaven, they're trying to reach the destination, mm-hmm. which is eternal life, then people should be pressuring you to like, hey, we can get there together. We can do this.
Right.
Because guess what? You're going to lose a job, and there might be a time where you don't really want to be around church. You don't really want to speak to God. But having that friend that can be like, come on, like, we can pray together. We can do this together. Let me try and encourage you. And sometimes you need to actually pick the person up. Like, it has to be, because it's not every day. Everybody, now we live in a society where everybody has to have a say. Everybody has the ability to be judgmental. You need to think about this, think about that. But the reality is, sometimes, if you're really a good friend, you need to shake somebody up and be like, hey, let's do this.
Right. I'm glad you said that, especially the part with God. When you reiterate something as in, like, do you know, right, with the commandments, right? Would you guys, I'll just put it out there. So with the commandments, obviously we're saying good and there's bad pressures, right? So, you know when he brought down the commandments and he handed them out and there was worshipping false God and some people didn't want to follow the commandments. Would you guys say then that's negative or positive or good peer pressure? I'm just touching on that for a second. I just want to.
So yeah, I can answer.
Yo, I can't even lie. Yeah. If I existed in the Old Testament days, it's off with their head. I can't lie because I'm I'm not doing what everyone else is doing. It's just not going to work. But no, sorry to interrupt. But going to the commandments, obviously that was through God, and I was just going to ask you that as well. Sorry, I'm not dismissing what you're saying or anything, but so you said you found it's through God, basically.
Myself, yeah.
Yeah, but how did you get to finding God for yourself? Okay, let me try and explain this. Wait, one second. So growing up, I grew up in a Christian household, as I believe most of us probably are. You go to church every Sunday, that's it. No, you don't get a say, you're going in it. But like I said, when life hits you baskos and you start spending time with yourself, that's how I found God personally. I found God through solitude. So that's what I was gonna come back to, like what you said about finding God. You just wake up one Sunday as you've been going to church every Sunday and you're like, yeah, I'm actually gonna go to church and actually listen rather than, play on my phone or just scribble. I used to scribble a lot.
Yeah. I think it's an element of really you need to be in a position where you need to be, like what I'm trying to explain here is a method or a solution that can work for everybody. Because the solitude one, as I said before, people can just go in their lonely room and be depressed, be anxious, do all sorts of madness, but what I believe is the right way, what I believe is the way that actually works is when you're able to actually, you have to go in a place of solitude, in a place where it's you and God consciously, but then God actually left us with a manual. The same way Steve Jobs, in order for you to understand how iPhone worked, had to leave a manual. So God actually left us with a manual to understand how we function, who we are, and in that manual, there is the transcript of who you are. But a lot of people don't spend the time to read the manual.
Well, you just contradicted yourself.
How?
You just said that solitude will lead to depression, but you also said solitude is where you find God.
No, so that's what I'm saying. If you need to put the two elements together. You can't just say you can just go into your room and then expect for you to get to know yourself just like that. You need to accommodate the element of, self-reflection, yes, with the element of reflecting with God and, communicating with God, in my opinion. In order to combining both, that's where you actually get to really know who you are.
You said about, right, so when you talk about God, right, Christianity, right, so bear in mind now, I believe in God. I'm just putting it out there, guys, just putting it out there, but I'm just giving a scenario here. This is one moment, just work with me. Right, so you're talking about God, right, and Christianity and so forth, yeah? Just like you talk about the iPhone. But my brother, remember in this day and age, in 2020, there's different options now, Remember, you've got your religion, but so does my Muslim brothers, so does my Jewish friend. You know what I'm saying? So they've got their options also. There's other options. You talk about the iPhone. There's Android. Just like what we were saying earlier. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's different avenues for other people to take. So one might not agree with yourself and say, that's negative, or that's not good. And then maybe he'll say, do you know what, this is my way. So I think the just to put into context, I generally think there's good and bad out there. However, it's just your way, your own way of finding it. That's what I think. She's got her way. She wants to be stubborn. She's got her way. Nothing wrong with that. Right? You've got your way. I've got my way. I was influenced by certain peers, and I believe my mum as well. But I was fortunate enough to have good people around me. Well, I was fortunate enough to be sensible, I would say, and be able to, at a young age, to distinct between, exactly, right or wrong. So We all go our own ways. That's what I'll say. As I say again, we're all different, but that's what makes us so unique and similar, because we're all different.
You know, I'll add to that. Just to challenge it a bit, I feel like I'm the opposite. Although I agree with like going your own way to some extent in terms of having your own mind and your own mentality and making your own decisions or whatever, I also believe that you can't go your own way. And I feel like at the moment, like I'm not on social media right now, I'll say that, like too tough. But I feel like people that are on social media now, and everyone has this social pressure of also going their own way. And everyone is thinking they can just do whatever they want and be whatever they can. And you can't. Mm-hmm. You really can't. And another thing is, as it's going your own way is making you up your own little processes, making it up however you want to do things, making up however you want to do relationships. Mate, I still believe there are some actual processes that you have to follow, like especially in relationships. You can't go making it up. There's so many random people making them up and just, you know, getting together. Oh, now they're this with this person. Oh, now, because you're trying your thing and you're trying your own way. But no, there's actually a process. And for me personally, all my processes I anchor and I attribute to Christianity and God, even though I don't follow, I'm not following most of them, or I haven't followed most of them in the past. I still feel like there's a process. Even though if you go to the gym, you can't go in there and make things up. Honestly, people have tried and tested things, how things work. You better go and make this work like this. Or, I don't know, there's some people that do make things up and it works, but if it was up to me, this is just an extreme thing. I don't believe in democracies to some extent. If it was up to me, if we had good leaders and dictated everything, I'd love that. So that's just a random, that's a segue. It's like something far, but I really believe in processes and rules, and you can't make things up, and you can't go your own way.
I think what you just said is nice, and thank you, Cleveland, thank you, everyone, for the honesty. And to be honest, I'm loving this conversation because it's deep and it's not deep at the same time. That's what I think. So I think with what you said, there was something you said about ways, and something that Favor said about direction and stuff. I think, to be honest, the fact that there's so many ways, like everything we do, it points to too many ways. Mm-hmm. So in my head, honestly, I can get confused sometimes. I'm like, okay, there's so many ways, like there's too many paths. So what does that say to me? There's got to be a right way. Mm-hmm. So the fact that there's white, there's black, there's so many of these things, I think it's leaving a room for us to actually think, oh, because they're all of these things, they should be the right one. And obviously, sometimes we might go through all the ways to then find out that, oh, I went this way, I got there, I got beaten, you come back, you go. So maybe it could be a way for us to stop and think, what is the right way? Rather than just saying, oh, he has his way, I have my way. Sorry to say, I can go in solitude and figure this thing out, which is a good thing, but which way would it lead? It's not every time that we have to just, I think maybe we could stop and think which is the right way. And I think Favor mentioned something about the whole analogy of him finding himself through God. And that is his experience. Fair enough. And I think I like that because, like he said, for you to understand something, you have to take it back to where it's coming from. So if we understand where are we coming from, then I think it could make it a bit easier for we to be able to retrace our steps to find the right way for us.
And just to add on to what you said, when you've come to a point, and this is, I think, for me personally, happened in my time of solitude, I was trying different ways and it just wasn't working. So it came to that point when I was like, okay, same as you, grew up in a Christian household, but it was just church on Sundays. There wasn't that relationship. It was just Christianity. But people forget that Christianity and church is just a group of people, but you have to have that relationship. And I hadn't tried that way. The only way I tried was going to church. Do you get what I mean? So when I now decided consciously to have a relationship, a lot of my friends or people that I knew back then that had the relationship, because they got uncomfortable with what they were seeing about themselves, they didn't want that relationship anymore. Because when you're in an uncomfortable position, that's when change begins, because you become uncomfortable with the lifestyle you're living, where you're going, or the people that you're even around. So I was like, the fact that I'm uncomfortable, that's actually a good thing, because then I can see things that it's not going to help in 5-10 years to come if I keep on doing it my way. So then, in the sense of building that relationship, it was just like, okay, cool, this is who I want to be. Because I said it before, like, everyone, we're always changing. So for me to say, oh, this is who I am, yeah, it is, but in 5 years, I'm going to be someone completely different. So for me, it was just like, I'm going to build this relationship, but this is who I'm aspiring to be, because I've gone back to the manuscript. I've gone back to the creator who created me, and I'm building a relationship. I'm just not going to church, but I'm actually consciously building that relationship. So I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, no, facts. I agree with what you said. But like, as we were talking about, you know, going into solitude and all them things there, I feel like that's just everyone's journey in life. Everyone's journey in life is very different. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some people have to lose themselves to find themselves. Some people found themselves right from when they came out of their moms. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't like, yeah, just find yourself in it. I forgot my point. I don't know what I was going to say. But yeah, it's all right, man.
Yeah, so I think that's, you know, it's been over an hour now. So we spoke, we had fun, we discussed. And yeah, so essentially, thanks a lot for those that have joined, those that are listening, those that, you know, enjoyed and agree, disagree, or maybe, you know, we can have a part 2, I don't know. But essentially, the reason why we did this was because we really wanted to get to the point of self-image and self-worth and where that stems from, you know. And as I said earlier on, we are made by God. I don't know if you all believe it or not, but the fact that you believe it or not doesn't change the fact that it's real. And essentially, you know, in order for you to actually have a good self-image, the right one, and to ensure that what you believe about yourself is right, you need to ensure that it aligns with what God has said about you. So it's very fundamental that we ensure that we can understand that the only way for us to, as Gulak mentioned, there are various ways in life. You can choose different things in life, but there must be the right one. And the right one is Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the way, and you know the Bible says it very clearly, like, is the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody gets to God except through Him. So the reason why we do these debates and we talk and we discuss is because we want to encourage you. We want to encourage you to really get to know yourself, get to know your Creator, get to know your Maker, get to know, you know, who you really are. Because you can't allow your peers or society or people around you to dictate, you know, why God created you or why you're in this world and why you're in this world. So thanks everybody for joining us. And you know, if you actually believe what I'm saying right now and you would like to get in contact with us, our details are going to be on the screen. And essentially, the way to really be with Christ and be with Jesus is by saying a little prayer, a prayer of repentance, a prayer of acceptance from the fact that He's willing to help you, He's willing to communicate with you, He's willing to have a relationship with you. And that can be done very simply by saying these little words I'm going to say right now, if you're willing to say it wherever you are. So it's, Heavenly Father, I know I am a sinner. Please forgive me for my sins. I know you died on the cross and rose again on the third day. Today, I accept you to be my Lord and personal Savior. And from now on, I would like to follow you and to honor you. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. So, again, it's a choice that you need to make, a choice you need to do. And we hope this facilitated it, this encouraged you. and a bit of pressure was made. But yeah, have a wonderful day, and we shall speak to you soon. This is Talk Your Mind, and thanks a lot for everybody that joined.